Yeah, welcome to the Basement Sports Network post-game show. Half a King. I'm your host, Roy A. Shepard, and I'm joined today by my guy. Y'all saw him put it up. Half a King, my dude, Kai Chisholm, pulling up with me. We may have some other people pulling up for the show. But game two, Dolphins, 28-3 over the Houston Texans. The game started out questionably, to say the least. Tua threw a pick on his first possession, but the defense was able to hold, which is kind of like my story of the game, which is the way that the defense played overall. But the defense was able to hold Houston while they got the ball in the red zone. And then from there, the defense dominated. The offense kind of picked up a little bit. Saw a couple of guys play well. Saw a couple of guys who didn't play at all, which surprised me because I expected to see some Mike White today. And I don't think I saw him. Oh, he played, but I didn't see him throw the ball. But either way, Kai, first of all, tell me your thoughts on the overall game. Don't go into like individual players yet because I got a few players that I want to kind of pick out.
The running game. I've been talking about it since May. I said it so many times when I was hosting through IPC this summer. I said it when we did our prediction show. I feel like I've said it every show that I've been on already this season. The running game. I want to see Mike McDaniel go back to it. I want to see him excel at it. And what is he doing? He has blessed us, the gods, and he is running the ball. We averaged 5.5 yards a carry, and they ran well. The running backs caught out of the backfield well. They were running hard. Yes, it gets a little, I guess not right in terms of the stats where Savon Ahmed had his huge run, but still, they were running the ball effectively. I was very happy with it.
Yeah, you hinted at the player who I was going to start with anyway, which is Savon Ahmed, obviously the star of this game. And I thought it was interesting because he's thought of as one of the players that's on the bubble in terms of like running backs that are even going to make the team.
I didn't think so.
I mean,
I thought it was Miles.
I think for sure now, after today's game, I think Miles for sure is on the bubble. But you have Jeff Wilson, you have Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert ran well today. I thought he ran well today. But you got Raheem Mostert, you got Jeff Wilson, you got A-Chain, who I saw a little pop from. Also, he got carted off the field.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some stuff on that, but I cannot at the moment. I'm sure we'll get something after.
No, for sure. But yeah, Savon Ahmed was the guy. And pulling up to the panel, we got my guy. The basement's number one villain from the Kane gang. My boy Kane Threat. Threat one, how you doing today, too? Tell me what you thought about what you saw out
there. I'm doing amazing. I like what I seen. I'm not gonna lie. Minus the early interception. I do like what I seen.
That was before early, bro.
But it's not how you start, it's how you finish, though. At the end of the day, he threw the pick early and he responded, and that's really been his MO for real throughout his career, even from year one, bro. We seen him make an early mistake, but he always finds a way to usually bounce back from those mistakes that he throws early in the game. But I did enjoy seeing him drive 98 yards on the second possession. I love the run game production, and the defense, was solid. It's pretty much what I expect to see throughout the season this year.
Yeah, so I agree. The one thing I will say though, like, I agree that he did bounce back, but I just didn't like. I'm pretty sure no fan liked to see the game start that way, but it just kind of felt like, oh, here we go again, and that kind of sucked the life out of kind of what happened. I feel like the defense picked them up by that fourth down stop. So that's not a problem for either one of you. Like that feeling of like the defense had to bail him out again or nothing like that. Kai, we'll start with you.
I actually really don't care, to be honest. Like it's not even trying to be like an ass about it. It's like again, and Juan, of course, he, you get paid for engagement now on Twitter, so he's gonna get some people, but he had tweeted out how people were saying. Relax. I'm just saying, he tweeted out how people were saying, oh, practice doesn't matter, then joint practices don't matter, and he throws an interception in the first play of the game. Look, all I saw after that was that he led the team to a long touchdown drive. It doesn't matter what happened with the defense. He was the one that led the charge on that touchdown drive. And on top of that, when you look at it in terms of, yes, he was. It was a long touchdown drive.
I'm just saying. You said it doesn't matter what the defense does because he made.
I'm saying
Let's be honest now. If they had got them 7 points down there, then the game is 7-7 when Tua goes out the game, and not him leading 7-0.
I'm just saying in terms of the fact that they were able to still drive despite that, and on top of that, I'm very okay with, at half speed without most of who they're expecting to even have on the offensive line, most of who they're expecting to have in the wide receivers, and even the running back room for these situations to happen. I would much rather mistakes happen in preseason where nothing really fucking matters besides the guys who are on the bubble to make the roster, rather than the first play of the game against the Chargers, he throws an interception. If that happens, yeah, of course, I'm going to be as pissed as Juan gets with every single day. But if this is, to me, even with the things I like to see, I still walk away from it saying this is still preseason. Even with the things that we like and don't like, it is preseason.
Yeah, one thing that we're not going to do, I ain't going to let you get away with throwing shots at Juan all show when he's not here to defend himself. You will not have that go your way. But also, look, I think like 1,000%, I love you, but I feel like that's a fucking cop-out to say it's just the preseason for us to see the same shit that he does in the regular season. Like, to totally ignore the bad things just to highlight the positive things.
No, it was a bad throw. I'm just saying that I'm just saying I don't like care.
But it's emblematic. I understand, but most Dolphins fans share that sentiment where they don't care and they attribute it to being the postseason, but they don't factor in the process. I think the process with Tua is what a lot of his critics, Juan included, they get pissed off about. The process is not always there, and I think the first pass that you're throwing with live bullets, I think that matters, and to summarily dismiss it because he bounced back, I think it's disingenuous and it's not fair for like a well-rounded critique, which people say that we don't do often. Threat, like the interception did not move you either?
It didn't, dog. This was his first real action in a game since December.
God forbid I said that, by the way.
This is his first real game action.
I'm finna cook his ass. Don't worry about this.
So I mean, I don't know what you guys expected off of his first NFL real action. Yeah, he has interceptions in the joint practices. Yeah, he has interceptions, I guess, in this. But, bro, you got to get a man time to work himself back into. Now, if this is an interception in December or an interception late in the season when we need to win games, then I'm concerned. Me being concerned right now, no, I'm not. I just can't find myself jumping off of the ledge right now, bro. It's just it didn't concern me, bro, at all. This is the first real live action in months, bro. So it is what it is.
This is what I'm saying, though, bro. It's the same
shit. Red nose ball.
I'm here to teach both of you motherfuckers. This is what I'm saying, though. You cannot dismiss what happens in the preseason because whether you like it or not, even though this was his first action, it's probably going to be his last action of the preseason, too. They only got 3 preseason games. And so there's a problem, in my opinion, when he isn't sharp to begin games. And while it may not matter in the preseason, you saying that he won't do it or you're not worried about whether or not he's going to do it, if he does it in the regular season, you cannot afford for him to make those types of mistakes. And I think at this point in his career, it's time that people start holding him accountable when it's half speed. When it's half speed, you can't make that throw.
But what are the mistakes you're talking? He had 8 interceptions last year.
Yeah, sure. But I'm just talking, it's not necessarily how many, it's when they happen and how they happen. A lot of times the interceptions are easily avoidable. Sometimes you throw a pass and a defender makes a great play, but a lot of things are just bonehead throws by Tua sometimes. That's my critique of his interceptions. I believe he makes bad decisions at times, and that leads to his interception. Today was a bad decision. That man was not open. He shouldn't have threw that ball.
I think the main knock on Tua for me, aside from the injuries, is the decision making. But the decision making is not from reads that he makes. I think the problem is his decision making is predetermined. I think he doesn't. I don't even know how to properly break this down, but a lot of the stuff that he does is predetermined and is scripted. And when it's time to when the script isn't perfect for him and he has to make an adjustment or he has to do something on the fly, it just doesn't click the way it should click for him. And I
But
think that's part of the problem.
that's my point. Threat, like it. I wasn't criticizing like what I think. Me and you are on the same page in terms of that. Like my thing is kind of like the decision making. The interception that he threw today was not some happenstance. It was a bad decision that he made on the opening drive of the game. And I think it just could have been, I think he didn't have to throw it. It wasn't scripted. The play had broken down a little bit. That was the type of play that he threw the interception on. He's going to have to make off-script plays, bro. And him not being able to do that is something that's going to have to be talked about. And I think I'm going to be the one to talk about it all year long, no matter who tells me to shut up about it. So I want to thank my boy Dan, the film gent, with the $5 dono. Consistency is key, ladies and gentlemen. He said, Savon Ahmed, the dead terrorist, is a stud. I like the run game. Hopefully we see more of that in the regular season. It's like what boy Kai said. Like, he's been harping on it the whole time. Mike McDaniel has to figure out the run game. And through the first 2 preseason games, I want to give him credit because I am a very big Mike McDaniel criticizer. I want to give him credit. He has found a running game in these first two games. Excuse me. And I want to know, Kai, from you particularly, what have you seen through the preseason, like the run game through the preseason, that you think will probably translate to the regular season that we didn't see last year?
That he's actually going to call runs. Like, I know it's like a cop-out answer, but it's just that we've seen that he's actually willing to call runs. Even last year in the preseason, it was more so of him like, oh, I want to show what I have, and I'm going to throw the football, and I'm going to throw the football, and I'm going to throw the football. Now, it's running back by committee, but they're actually committed to running the ball. Again, I'll say the same thing I said with Tua's interception. It's the preseason, so I don't really give a shit that much. But in terms of the style of how the play calling is going, yeah, it's a lot better. And he's calling the plays better. They had 205 rushing yards split between 4 different backs and then Skylar Thompson. Like, I think it is a much better it's just everything is operating better second year in an offense, which is the first time I think we've had back-to-back offense coordinator or consistency and offensive play calling consistency since Gase was here. I guess that's the biggest because we had a different coordinator every year with Flores, if I'm not mistaken. And Gase was the one calling the plays when he was here. So that's what, 2018, the end of the 2018 season. So about 5 years ago. It's just a lot. It's a lot better. The play calling is a lot better. We didn't see it last year. I think we'll see it going into the regular season, even when Tyreek is back and even when Jaylen is there. I think that he's committed to running the football because it makes more sense. It makes more sense to do what he was hired to do than to sit there and just be, oh, you know what? I have all these wide receivers, so I'm just going to throw the ball a bunch of times and then expose your offensive line, expose your quarterback. Like, it's not going to make any sense. Running the football and having the speed that they have, it's a different vibe from what we're seeing last year.
Just to piggyback off of that real quick, Kai, you brought up the offensive line. They looked all right now when they was running the ball.
Pass protection. Yeah, the pass protection was not good. But the run protection, it was very good.
Yeah, okay.
Will they do it when the lights are bright?
But I'm just saying, like, that might be that the change in philosophy in terms of like making an effort to run the ball more might be beneficial to the Dolphins offensive line as opposed to trying to drop back and throw the ball 20, 30 times a game. Like, lean into the run game. You guys are doing that at an okay level. What you about to say, Threat?
I do think this year we're going to see a conservative effort to run the ball, mainly because a couple of things. One, I think year one, Mike McDaniel had this savior complex where he felt the need to have to overextend himself and save Tua's career and just elevate him beyond need. So he just put more emphasis into throwing the ball than he should have. And I think that was one of the mistakes. And then 2, when you're a run game coordinator, that's how you came into this league. That's how you made your name. You're going to go back to your roots, bro. Yeah, we got Tyreek. Yeah, we got Waddle, but he made his name as a run game coordinator. He made his name as in the run game. He's gonna go back to his roots. That's what everybody does. At the end of the day, you go back to what you know always. So I do think it's gonna be a conservative effort to run the ball this season, and I do think we'll probably be effective running the ball. I believe last year, We were middle of the pack as far as run blocking grades goes per PFF. If I do remember, I can't
Fuck
remember the.
PFF.
PFF.
I gotta bring
The
up.
boy talking to me about
This,
stats.
this the thing with PFF. PFF is garbage when it's not advantageous, but when it promotes your narrative, then PFF is the best stat shit ever.
Hey, that's 1,000. I can find a PFF stat to fit any need that I have at the moment. But I do like your point about him kind of going back to his roots and leaning into the run game. And I know we've kind of talked about that a little bit, but I just kind of want to stay there for a little bit. I think the reason that he's able to do that is because the running backs have actually answered the bell in terms of like their production. Because look, even though Myles Gaskin is on the bubble, he got an opportunity last game and he made the most of that opportunity. We already know what Raheem Mostert can do, but he came back tonight and played well anyway. Devon Achane has been kind of a revelation in terms of the way that he's able to use his speed and be able to use in the pass game. And man, bro, ball tonight. He had the best game of any Dolphin throughout the preseason, in my honest opinion, tonight. Like, Kai, is that like a big thing for you? Like the talent level of the running back room is elevated, so the run game is elevated?
Yeah, speaking of, just to bring it up, Mike McDaniel just commented about like Teron and Devon Achane. Losing Devon Achane, if his shoulder injury is worse than, it should hopefully be, that would be a huge blow, not only for my my fantasy football team, but just for the Dolphins talent room, because then all that talk of, I'm trying so hard, all that talk of we don't need Dalvin Cook, and it was coming from people like me too, because we have a talented backfield, will go out the window, because then you're left with just three guys, and same three guys you had last year.
I was trying to tell her to hold on because you had to tweet up.
Oh,
and she couldn't contain herself, so she just walked.
I have mine somewhere. I don't know where I put it, but I have my Dolphins flag somewhere here. But yeah, like I think they're just, even, I don't know if it's wrong to say, and obviously like you guys can check me on this if it's a little too insane, but I feel like it's, even with having these update, like even having Devon Achane, even if he's out, and I don't say this like lightly, because I think you guys know I'm a huge Devon Achane fan, I think that we're still extremely talented in the backfield. Like Savon, when you see him, he gives you some production, and he always has. Miles, I still don't like Miles, but it is what it is. And then having Jeff Wilson Jr., who I think is an extremely underrated back, I think that was a great pickup last year. And having a guy like Raheem Mostert in this role, when he stays healthy, and having him in this role, it's still an extremely talented backfield, like in terms of running back by committee.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Threat. I don't know why I did this whole time, but you got to get right. But yes, I agree, Kai. I do agree. I do think that you guys still have depth, but it's essentially the same depth that you had last year. You just added one additional piece to that room.
They're just actually running the ball.
Yeah, they're running the ball a little better. But Threat, I wanted to ask you, bro. Like, what do you think that the Dolphins' backfield kind of like stacks up league wide? Like, do you like your depth at running back? Do you like the talent in the room? Like, how do you feel about the overall picture of the running back room of the Dolphins?
I like it, don't love it, don't hate it. I'm just whatever about it. I feel like it's enough to get the job done. Last season, we ran the second most 11 personnel, which is two backs in the backfield, maybe possibly a fullback in the backfield, whatever. And we had the second most success in 11 personnel in the fucking NFL last year. The problem that we had was when we faced 7-man fronts, we struggled more than we had success passing the ball. And basically, bro, teams are not respecting our run game enough for us to be successful the way we should be. So, like, I do like the backfield sometimes. They can be successful, but they need the ball consistently to be successful. I feel like these guys are not the running backs that just pop off of a one run, 80 yards, 60 yards, and just get 150 yards rushing for the game. We're like a grinded out type of running back committee. And I think we do need to grind it out if we're gonna have success running the ball this year. We just don't have that home run hitter. And even today, when Ahmed broke that run for however many yards it was, he got speed, but he got ran down. I feel like if that was A-Chain, that goes the distance. I'm gonna be real. I just think that goes the distance if we have A-Chain. But I just feel like we don't have that home run hitter, and that's kind of what they always talk about our speed, Mostert and Ahmed having speed. I don't know what it is, bro. Yeah, the analytics show that Mostert had one of the fastest, I think, top 10 runs in the NFL last year. I don't be seeing it, bro. I don't see that
the top end speed.
I don't see it at all.
What it is,
he's got a different type of burst.
Yeah, it's like his top end speed is what people are talking about when they're talking about how fast he is. Like, so he goes from like slow to fast as shit. But when he's fast, he has like high sustained speed. The problem that you're seeing is like he ain't getting to that top speed on most of his runs because it's just not like feasible in the situations that he be in. But he fast. But I understand what
has
you're saying.
That
like
speed though.
That 20-yard run that he had in the first or second quarter, bro, that was blazing speed, bro.
That's if he's hurt, like it'll definitely be a hit. But I mean, like I said, I'm still hoping. But that dude's just fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead.
I'm gonna be real. Even with the performance, even off that run, I'm not so sure A-Chain was even a lock for running back 3 regardless. Even if he was healthy, the way Ahmed was running the pill and the way that he performed even last game, preseason game 1, this man is playing like he got a family to feed, bro. And like he not coming off that RB3 at all.
It's him against his college teammate. Like it's literally him versus Miles for who stays. And honestly, like I know it's a little bit of a deviation from the main topic. Chris Brooks, the past 2 games, 33, he runs hard. And I've been a very big hater of Myles Gaskin for a long time, mainly due to the fact that he wears number 37. I know he wore a different number last year, but now he's back to 37. But he runs. Chris Brooks runs hard.
That's a terrible running back number, by the way.
A horrible
number. Throw that out there, bro.
Even like 3 last year was a bad number. But Chris Brooks runs hard, man.
You said like, nothing worse than Teddy Bridgewater 50 at quarterback.
He'll be forced to change it, though, I believe.
So they had the Patriots rookie Christian Gonzalez. They had him wearing 50 at DB on Madden last year. Like, that shit, bro, that shit hurt my heart. Like, I couldn't put bro on the field because I couldn't look at that. Like, he had to get off. And he was a 99 overall.
You say he has to change it, cuz?
What? Teddy? Yeah. I saw, I can't remember what it was, but I think like per NFL rules, once like the real games start, he's gonna have to cut from 50 to go somewhere else, like go to a different number.
So I thought they changed the NFL rules with like all the jerseys.
I mean I'll double check, but I'm almost positive because I was listening to something, and they talked about how it doesn't really matter what number he's wearing right now because I'll have to switch. I know what happened to Mac Jones when he was in his rookie year because he was 50 and then they switched him to 10 before the season started.
It's Mac Jones. Nobody cares.
But I'm just 50? Giving you an example. Yeah, he wore 50 before they gave him 10.
It's a terrible.
I'll check. I'll double check.
It's a terrible example because you were talking about McCorkle. We want to thank Dan the Film Gent with the $5 dono. He said the disrespect to Christian Wilkins is insane. He said, "Bro, give this man his money already." We with you, bro. We think Christian Wilkins should and will be paid. I just think that I think it's gonna happen before the season starts. He's gonna play. Whatever, but he absolutely should get his money.
He's going to get paid. Teddy is still going to have to change his number. Available numbers are for quarterbacks is between 0 and 19.
I know it, yeah.
So he's still going to have to change his number no matter what.
That sucks. Who was the kicker from Kentucky? Like he was like a fat kicker. Not kicker, but he was a quarterback. The fat quarterback he used to play for Kentucky. He was like 300 pounds.
Also paid for the Giants, like in the NFL, or are you talking about? Like,
yeah. The one who played for the Giants.
He passed away a few years ago. I can't remember his name. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Don't worry about it because I was about to make a joke about that boy. Let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about some of these bubble guys. Let's go to the wide receivers because I think they're not necessarily bubble guys, but they're just like the names that are all fighting kind of for like the same slot. So guys like Braxton Berrios, Cedric Wilson Jr., Robbie Chosen Anderson. I don't know what that boy called himself. He didn't do shit tonight. But like
he's gonna get cut.
Eric Izukama, like those guys are all kind of like battling it out for like that third spot. Easy E was again good tonight. Wasn't great, but I thought he was fine. But yeah, like Threat, who's your favorite out of that group from what you've seen so far? Because it's been a lot of like plays made individually from a couple of those guys.
I'm gonna be real. My favorite, and I think he is gonna be wide receiver 3, is Chosen. I'm gonna be real with you. I think Chosen
What?
is
Bro did not
wide
make a
receiver.
play at all tonight.
I think he you said what happened?
He said, bro did not make a play at all tonight.
But yeah, he didn't come. But he is that. He's another home run hitter, bro. I don't know what it is. Every time he connects with Tua in practice,
that boy from Brown, that's what it is.
Every time he connects with Tua in practice, or any time in practice you see his name get called, it's off a 20+ yard play. He's that chunk play guy. He has that X factor that the rest of those guys do not have. Barrios,
but don't you already have that in a sense in Tyreek and Jaylen Waddle?
You completely do, and when you take one of them away, the show still goes on with Chosen on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Or Chosen on the inside, however you may have it. He just has something that just falls in line with what the rest of the guys have, and as far as Tyreek and Waddle, and what the other guys don't bring to the table. I feel like Barrios is a safety blanket. You know, he's good inside the numbers too. But he's a little smaller guy. We already have a small guy in Tyreek. I'm not too fond of small receivers, to be real with you. Him, Craycraft. We have all these small ass receivers. Easy E, he didn't really get busy today. He got busy, but he in game 1, but it was more so in the run game than more in the pass game. I guess he's really good in open space. I guess he found his little niche or wherever, however he's gonna make the 53-man roster. And when he does get called up, and on game day, I think they got a little gadget plays for him. And Craycraft had an amazing catch in the third quarter. Skylar Thompson threw the ball kind of high, and he snagged, or was that Mike White? I don't remember which one it was, but he snagged that bitch out the air. An impressive catch.
Oh, Skylar Thompson. Mike White didn't throw the ball a lot tonight.
Okay, so he had an impressive.
He just got sacked. That's all he did.
He got his ass thrown around. But Craycraft had an impressive catch. I just feel like it's Chosen's job to lose at the end of the day. Cedric Wilson got to go. I don't know why he wasn't moved already. But between him and Emmanuel Ogbah, those guys are auditioning for other teams at this point. And I hope he has a safe flight back to wherever he's headed to.
Emmanuel Ogbah has been fine for the Dolphins, but I do agree that I think that at this point, like, they probably need to trade him because he doesn't really have a role. Like, and I don't know what they would like find for him.
And he's got a lot of cap.
Yeah, because they paid him a lot. But Kai, who is your favorite guy from that group? I know who it is already, but I'm just.
I mean, okay, so realistically, or like me trying to be like a dickhead?
Whichever one that you choose to be right now. I don't
All right.
care.
So realistically, Thread is so fucking wrong. This guy, Cedric Wilson, and I don't say this either. I'm being 100% serious. Cedric Wilson's going to be wide receiver 3. I think that Robbie Anderson's going to get cut.
Why? You think Robbie Anderson's going to get cut?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to get cut.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's going to be.
Ced hasn't shown a flash of anything though.
Not if they did not move him, and they had chances to move him. It's been reported, like I think $1 billion is cutting it short. It's got to be at $1 trillion or gazillion at this point. Chances to move him. They haven't moved him for a reason. That's just all I can feel. No, because they could. They had. Him. I mean, according to Schefter and other people, they had the opportunity to move him at the deadline to Dallas. Dallas was going to throw a 4th-round pick, I believe, if I'm not remembering it correctly. That would have
been crazy for them to like get him from Dallas just to send him back.
I don't think that it's just some chance that we're sitting here thinking like, oh, Cedric Wilson's still on the roster, and I don't. Robbie Anderson, I'm not calling him chosen. I don't know. This is like when Enes Kanter wants to be called Enes Freedom. I'm not like Robbie Anderson is the equivalent.
You ain't down with the Meta World Peace vibes?
Meta World Peace is different. Robbie Anderson, I can't even find I'm trying to find a way to describe who Robbie Anderson is, and I can't because he's not a real person. He's not a real person. Like I don't get the hype for Robbie Anderson is like
that boy from Brown. That's why.
I don't know, man. I was gonna say some fucked up shit, and I'm not gonna say it because but Robbie Anderson, the hype for him is insane. It's literally like going to your friends and being like, "Oh, dude, 2K changed this year. 2K changed this year. It's so good." And then they buy 2K and they're playing 2K. And they're like, "Damn, this is the same old shit." That's what Robbie Anderson is. Like, it is a joke to be hyping up Robbie Anderson. It's a joke to be hyping up fucking Cedric Wilson too.
Yeah, I was about to say. I thought you didn't. You didn't see the irony in that.
No, I think that Robbie Anderson is not going to make the roster, and I think that I might even agree with Xavier Williams there. If it's going to be anybody, it probably is going to be Braxton.
As
wide receiver 3.
No.
Braxton Berrios.
I hate Braxton Berrios.
Listen, first of all, Braxton Berrios did lead the team in receiving tonight. And on top of that, you know who the wide receiver coach is. What more? What would be the feather in Wes Welker's cap other than to create new Wes Welker out of Braxton Berrios? I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Braxton Berrios is the guy who might not end up making this roster because I really only see him as I see him as a return guy. Like in that A-Chain has taken over those return duties. Like, and that's just the way that I look at it. Like, if you got A-Chain, why do I need Braxton Berrios? He's not a real wide receiver. Like, he just
like Robbie Anderson isn't a real person.
we got to come back to this because not today, but I mean, once the 53 is announced, I truly believe that Chosen is a lock for the 53, and I also believe that Braxton is a lock for the 53 too. I think both of those guys are a lock.
I can't. Like, you think Easy E getting cut?
I think Easy E, they'll put him on a practice and he'll get poached eventually. But I don't think
they'll put him. I think they'll do what they did with Skyler last year. That I don't think that they're willing to put him on the practice.
So Easy E, River Craycraft, like both of those guys not on the roster in your opinion.
It could be over for Craycraft. He's just
I think it is over for Craycraft.
And the crazy thing, he's not bad. He's not
solid.
Bad.
Like, he's all right.
He's solid, bro. It's a good problem to have.
And I think that's the thing about the Dolphins, like in terms of like the wide receiver room and the running back room. As far as maligned as it is, like they're still like relatively like stacked at both of those positions where they have a bunch of guys who are all ranked around the same, not really an elite guy, except for, Tyreek Hill, Jaylen. Those guys are different. But like the rest of the guys that you're choosing between, they're all kind of like lumped together in the same. They're good players, not great players, and they all can help your team in one way or another. So like that puts them at a different kind of like problem. But like you said, it's a good problem to have. Let's talk about this defense, bro. The defense, 3 points. The Vangio shit seemed to be looking like it's Vangioing out here in this first thing. Want to thank my guy Dan the Film again with the $5 dono, showing major love to the Dolphins team. We appreciate you, gang. He said, I agree that we'll pay Wilkins in time, but worst case scenario, he chooses another sponsor if the team screws him. And speaking of sponsors, we want to thank the primary sponsor of the Basement Sports Network, Simple Health Advisors. Ladies and gentlemen, insurance does not need to be complicated. Make sure you email our guy James Pugh or give him a call today and tell him that the Basement sent you. Email our guy James Pugh at jpugh@simplehealthadvisors.com or give him a call at 321-345-7738. Again, that number is 321-345-7738. We want to thank our guy James Pugh and the people over at Simple Health Advisors for sponsoring not only this program, but the Basement in its totality. And shout out to Dan the Film Chat. My boy is the law master from the comments. Every time I need him to keep me on track, he write that for me, so I appreciate it. So, fellas, let's get to this defense before we close this out, bro. The defense was defensing out there tonight. I seen plays made all over the field. Kai, I want to hear, what was your favorite part about watching the defense tonight?
25. Wait, let me make sure I'm right. 32. No. 32 rushing yards allowed. Sorry, I had to double, triple check that. 32 rushing yards allowed. And from someone who you guys know, like if there's a stan of Dameon Pierce besides his own family, his mother, it's me. 6 carries for 15 yards, an average of 2.5. He was great last year as a rookie. Devin Singletary and Mike Boone. That's for a running back by committee. That's a very well. I wouldn't say by committee, but for a running back room, I think that's a very strong running back room to hold them to 32 yards, even in the preseason. Again, we'll see if it's when the lights are on, if it matters. But last week, I said the running game was awful for the defense. They were just getting run through after all these achievements and all these things that they did last year. Now, to have this game, this bounce back game, I think it was great. Linebackers were tackling. What a world. They just remembered how to tackle.
David
50,
Long made a play.
David Long was a beast. There's someone number 50. I can't remember
Enjoy
his name.
it while you
can. Mitchell. Fuck up his last name. Agude.
Yeah.
He's from right? If I'm not mistaken.
That's Kendall Bag. We don't know.
He played great. He had a few plays in the running game which were really nice. He had that really big third down stop. I loved it. I love what I saw from him. It was cool. It was awesome.
That's dope. Threat, what was your favorite part about watching the defense tonight?
Not hearing the cornerback number 2's name get called at all. It's a combination of things, the Houston Texans offense being absolutely dog shit and our defense being decent. I like that. I didn't hear Noah's name. I believe I heard what's his name's name get called one time. He got beat. What's his name? Was it Cater? Did Cater play today?
I think Cater. No, Cater didn't play today.
Yes, he did. He had a tackle.
I believe he got beat.
I guarantee you, Cater.
Oh, he did. He did.
Yeah.
I guess it was after the half that they took him out of his, he left or took his off.
Non sequitur. I remember I saw Eli Apple jumping on somebody's back.
Eli Apple was making some good breaks on some balls. I'm not gonna lie. Eli Apple was making some good breaks on some balls.
I just want to put that out there. It's that Fangio effect, I think what it is. But go ahead, Third. Finish your point, bro.
Yeah, so I was kind of impressed with the cornerback too, not getting harassed. But like I said, that there was no real threat out there, but it was, nice to see that we didn't get taken over the top ridiculously, like how Nico Collins absolutely abused Noah Igbenogany in the joint practice. That was absolutely disgusting. I was praying not to see that tonight, and we didn't.
Noah got caught a couple of times. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. It was like this one route on the sideline where Noah just didn't put his hands up or something. I don't know. It felt like he could have made a play on the ball, but it was a catch anyway. But I don't know. I'm not a Noah. I'm a Juan Cardona stan, so I do not slander Noah Igbenogany on his behalf. I would not allow it. Any final things that you wanted to talk about? Anything that you saw from the game that we didn't mention tonight? Go ahead, Threat.
One thing I feel like is a huge fucking red flag with this team, and nobody's fucking talking about it, maybe because nobody gives a fuck, but they should. Special teams. I saw you talking about it on the timeline. Fucking worst unit on this team. I think our special teams unit is worse than our tight end unit. And those are, I think, amongst the two worst units in the league.
Our tight end room is pitiful, bro.
No, the tight end room is pitiful. We didn't see Jason Sanders today outside of the PATs. I'm still queasy about Jason Sanders. I'm not confident yet. We'll see when the season comes. But kickoff coverage is fucking piss poor. Back-to-back weeks, the kickoff coverage has not been what it should be. 2, Jake Bailey is fucking awful. I don't know how you let Morstead go. Bring in Jake Bailey, and he somehow wins the punter battle. And every punt that he's had, except for maybe 2 this preseason, has fucking shanked off the side of his foot. I mean, his punts have been awful, bro. I mean, he hasn't boomed one the entire preseason. Jake Bailey is garbage. You have a guy who's waiting, who was found not in trouble by the law, who needs a job, and I think you should give him a call because Jake Bailey is not good. He's not good. So figure that fucking special teams shit out, because if not, the special teams coach needs to go because he's been dog shit. That was one of our worst units last year, and it looks like it's dog shit again this year.
Kai, as our resident special team / kicking aficionado, How would you respond to his Jake Bailey allegations? And on top of that, give me your 1 point that we probably didn't mention throughout the show.
So really quick on Matt Ariza, just because he does have a name, we can say his name. It's not that it's not that big of a deal. What I will say with Matt Ariza, I personally believe there is no chance that Matt Ariza plays a single snap in the NFL ever. I just don't. Whether it was by the law or not, I just don't. And it from a purely football standpoint,
is that the punt guy?
Yes, from a purely football standpoint, he would have gone down to be the greatest punter we've ever seen. I'm not even joking in terms of ability. He was an insane punter, but until the law dictates something, I don't think he'll play because he's a fucking punter and people don't care. It's not like he's a Xavien Howard. I don't know what the fuck happened with him recently and the woman hid in his car. When it comes to Jake Bailey, I refuse
we need to talk
to let slander
Xavien Howard
on Jake Bailey. Jake Bailey in New England was a very, 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 very good punter. He had an off year last year where he was dealing with injuries, and him, his agents, and the Patriots and Bill Belichick were bickering back and forth all year, and they had issues, which eventually led to his release after signing a 3-year deal in which he was paid very handsomely. Jake Bailey is a very, very, very good punter. He beat out Michael Turk, who came from, I believe, Stanford. He was it might not have been Stanford, Oklahoma, who was also a very good punter in college. Bailey, just this game alone, landed 2 of his 4 punts inside of the 50. He had a pretty decent average. He needs to get it up maybe 4 or 5 more yards. But in terms of punting aspect, Bailey was not that bad. I think it comes down to just the coverage team in general, because obviously when it comes to the net yardage and everything like that, they can't cover. They can't on both on punt team and on kickoffs. They just cannot cover. The kicking game has been better. I think Jake Bailey has been holding very well. Jason Sanders has been doing well. That's been fine. But the coverage team is just bad. I don't know if it's just coming out of breaks. I don't know if it's not knowing their assignments coming down the field. They cannot tackle. They can't get to the guy. Once they finally get to the guy, it goes back to point A, which they can't tackle. That was one of our strongest units. Like, just in terms of punt coverage and kickoff coverage, we had been very good at that for a long time, a numerous amount of years, that the Dolphins were very, very good at special teams, one of the best special teams in the NFL. So it has to come down to the special teams coach. A lot of us were calling for his head last year. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but a lot of us were calling for his head last year because it was a very piss poor performance. Even having a Thomas Morstead who revived his career, it just hasn't been good on that end. But I will not let Jay Bailey get slandered because he has not been poor. It hasn't been like I can't remember his name that we got from Carolina like 3 years ago, who was good but not good when he came here. Because he was killing it in practice and then couldn't make a fucking punt during the games. I don't know what was going on. In terms of the other point, and something I'd like to put out there just so that it's out there, Brandon Peely, undrafted free agent that we got, gave a very hefty signing bonus to out of USC, is absolutely going to make this team. He is going to make this team. He has performed well. He's making his presence known on the second string and third string. He's for sure going to make this team without a doubt.
He gives me Zach Sealer year 1 vibes.
He seems like it was a good, putting that money out there. They definitely were trying to say, okay, we're going to go out there and we're going to make a statement in terms of, and a lot of teams do this for undrafted guys. We'll give you $1 million signing bonus here and try to get them in. I think that was money well spent. I think he's going to make the team and he'll be pretty good.
Yeah. So I don't really know enough to agree or disagree, but since Kachin Chisholm said it is as good as Bible to me, I've been doing my fantasy draft this entire time. We have a playback going on at 8:00. So if you guys are interested in hearing some more of me talk, I don't know if Threat pulling up, probably not, because he don't never like to pull up. He's pulling up. Threat pulling up. 8:00 on playback. We're gonna talk some Heat shit over there. Y'all make sure y'all join us over there. So thank you guys in the comments as always for joining the show, making it much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to my boy Kachin Chisholm, and of course my boy Kane Threat pulling up one time for the one time. We will see you guys on Thursday of next week because we're trying to get more consistent about this Dolphins coverage. We want you guys to join us for this ride. We're gonna put a lot more work into it, and we want you guys to be there with us. So yeah, we'll see you guys on Thursday. We have a show every Thursday, and then whenever the fuck the next preseason game is, we'll do a post-game show for that too. But yeah, we'll see y'all then. Play the video, me.